Flat noodle-shaped strands, like fettuccine, are perfect with a simple drizzle of damage.
Primo.
That's alright.
Yo guys, what is up? Max on Borderlands 3 video, and today we're going over Fettuccine Flak 2.0, my most popular Flak build, reworked for the new meta that has happened after all of these nerfs and anoint changes. Now, the biggest thing with this build that's a change is we're no longer U-Red. U-Red got nerfed to only be 100% damage, and we can like add in so many different sources of damage and increase our survivability by not going that route anymore. So big changes there. Once again, I also reached out to Olive Garden. They still won't answer any of my DMs. I don't know what's up with them. I really wanted this build sponsored by Olive Garden. That's okay. Maybe we'll get them next time. If you guys do enjoy the video, be sure to drop a like, comment, and subscribe. And with that, guys, let's get right into it. So there's a lot to talk about with the level cap increases and the totally reworked new skill tree and anointments that we're going to be using on this build. So we'll talk about the overview first, and then the gear specifics and the skill tree specifics. There should be a little bar at the bottom so you can scroll to the part of the video that you want to watch. Now, to start us off, we're not using U-Red. U-Red is now equal to next to mags. I know it's not totally equal because U-Red still applies to things like action skills and grenades, but we're a gun flak build, so we don't really care about that. We're going to be swapping to next to mags. Now, I tested this against 150 fadeaway, which I thought might be better, and next to mags just outperforms 150 fade in my opinion. It's just more consistent and overall just better for this build. Next up, because we're not using U-Red, we don't need to use a front loader. The front loader was the shield that I was using with this build before, these 65 front loaders, and we're swapping to a revolter. Also, note, not all my gear is 72. I've tried my best to farm as much as I can, and I've got a lot of good 72 weapons, but like my grenade and my pearl are still level 65. It's not the end of the world, I promise you guys. This build still chews through enemies. Next up, besides the revolter giving us ridiculous amounts of damage and fire rate, the biggest thing that I loved about Fettuccine Flak and why it was my favorite Flak build to play was its survivability. And I didn't want to lose dominance and all of their points into blue tree because of how good the survivability was. And I struggled on green tree Flak, going full green tree, full red tree with a little bit of blue tree until this item. Now, this item holds this build together, not entirely, but it is so good for everything that you need to do, and I think is a must-have Flak item. And I'm so upset that I didn't know about this thing sooner, because it is the Mesmer. Now, the Mesmer possesses enemies to fight on your side for 10 seconds, increasing your weapon and melee damage while possessed, or increases their weapon and melee damage while possessed, sorry. This thing is insane. It is pocket dominance. You throw this thing, and not only is the enemy confused and will shoot at other enemies, which we don't really care about, the biggest thing is all the enemies in the area turn and look at this enemy. They do not target you at all, and it lasts a ridiculously long amount of time. Because of that, one, we're pocket dominance. We don't have to waste all these points into blue tree for that survivability because nothing aims at us. Two, we're always getting hidden machine, which is going to give us tons of extra damage against all these enemies. And what it allows us to do is basically use this grenade as our survivability and spec full out as much damage as we can possibly do on Flak without sacrificing that survivability, and it's so good. I absolutely love it. So let's talk a little bit more specific about the gear and the weapons. For weapons, this is a use any weapon you want Flak build, similar to how Chaos Queen or Fire Hose Mo's or like Chain Zane are kind of use any weapon builds. This is my use any weapon Flak build. Now, I will point out my favorites, with my absolute favorite being the Reflux. The Reflux, in my opinion, is just my favorite weapon to use on Flak. The chain damage is really good. The amount of chains that it procs so that you can cycle fadeaway insanely fast. Its single target damage, because it got buffed, is amazing. Its mobbing damage is what you're using this thing for. Use it with a next to mags like radiation or shock or fire, whatever you want to use, but get a Reflux with next to mags. Whether it's times 14 or times 7, kind of up to you. You have to reload less with the times 7, so it's kind of nice. Next up, the needle gun is amazingly strong. This thing shreds on fadeaway Flak. Definitely recommend. I just put out a video on this. The OPQ should be no surprise. This thing is amazing. It's good for bossing. It's good for mobbing. Don't get too close, but enemies will like group up, and these OPQ explosions will absolutely shred them. All of the call weapons, the Rowan's Call, Lucian's Call, King's Call, they're all amazing. I don't have all the weapons I'd like here, but the No Pew Pew is really good. Plague Bearers are really good. I should have a list of other weapons that I really do like, but this is a use any weapon build. No Pew Pew, Reflux, OPQ system, Needle Gun, and Rowan's are probably my top weapons though, along with like the obvious like Light Show, Monarch, Plasma Coil, all good. Next up, our class mod is the Cosmic Stalker. I know mine's outdated, I'm sorry. I've been working on getting a new one, but the Cosmic Stalker is the best mobbing and general class mod you can use on Flak. Now, if you really want to get specific, you can use a Bounty Hunter for bossing. Bounty Hunter is just going to be better bossing damage, but what you're looking for on your class mod is spec points into big game. This hunter skill duration and effects is going to be so amazing for you. As many points, 3 big points into big game and 2 into interplanetary stalker is my favorite role, so I'm trying to find a level 72 version of that. Once again, this build shreds even with lower underlevel gear. And with that, we get into our skill tree. So showing on screen should be the updated skill tree for Fettuccine Flak 2.0. Now, I do have to apologize real quick because I did a small tweak of this skill tree in between recording the first part and now, and that is because I was watching the gameplay back and I noticed my pet was going down sometimes, and that was because I was spec'd 3 out of 3 into Hive Mind. I've unspec'd those points into Hive Mind, and now my pet doesn't go down at all, and I didn't change my green or red tree at all, so that's all good there. But the big increase, what do you do with your extra 7 points, Moxsy, for Flak, is we're going into Barbaric Yup. The typical red tree, green tree spec could only go to 5 out of 5 Frenzy and 1 point in He Bites. You can fill out He Bites, which is a great skill, and get all the way down to Barbaric Yup for 3 points. Now, this is going to increase our elemental damage that we're doing with the Spider Ant Scorcher. The Spider Ant Scorcher is going to increase our elemental damage. We are using next to mags on all of our weapons, plus a Revolter. We're doing a ton of elemental damage, so this is just going to push our damage even further. Now, there isn't too much to talk about skill tree wise here because this is a very typical red tree, green tree spec. I haven't changed how I spec my red tree on Flak in like a year. However, I do want to mention not going self-repairing system, not going more points in Eager and Repress, not going 5 out of 5 into Rage and Recover, and that is simply because of the Mesmer Grenade. The Mesmer Grenade allows me to not spec into all of these healing things because I simply don't get targeted, and the faster I can kill things and wipe them off the map while they're confused, the less I have to worry about them getting unconfused during the duration and shooting back at me, and that is why we're able to just spec pretty much as much damage as we possibly can. Now, I love this skill Overclocked. This fire rate pairs really well with our increased reload speed from Second Intention because we're going to reload faster, and then we're going to blow through our magazine with the increased fire rate to trigger another reload faster and then more fire rate. You can chain these together very, very quickly to just increase your overall DPS, which is great. And I do want to just show you guys real quick how good the Mesmer is, and then we're going to head out. So just a quick little demonstration of the Mesmer. So you're going to want to go into Fadeaway, throw your grenade. Because I'm using 3-shot, I'm not losing any like time or precious time in Fadeaway besides my Revolter kind of ticking down. And then once I throw my Mesmer Grenade, everything's going to be confused. It now allows me to safely exit Fadeaway. When I can safely exit Fadeaway, things are really, really nice for me because I can get that damage off and those kills off and those headshots off to go back into Fadeaway. And we're using Not My Circus, so when enemies aren't targeting my pet, they're going to be targeting themselves. Threw another grenade up there, and you'll know that enemies are mesmered because they'll kind of like disappear off of your map as red dots. But as you can see, I mean, it's just easy out here, and we're never really gonna run out of grenades because we're gonna be killing things so quickly. But yeah, like honestly, the easiest Flak build I've ever played. It's really, really cool. Throw your grenade, go full damage, and have at it. All right, guys, I will catch y'all in the next one, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to drop a like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch y'all in the next one, guys. Take care. Peace.